disrupted.
America, like fuck.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So you recall the many times that they tried to fear us with January 6th. That was the Pearl Harbor attack of ordinary Americans storming into the Capitol to basically take selfies and get a tour guide in the People's House, ironically called. That's what they call the White House and Congress, the Capitol building. It's the People's House, but apparently not for those people. And they tried to scare us, and they said it was an insurrection, even though they didn't actually insurrect, and it was all just a hoax, and we exposed it here on this channel. We showed all the coverage. We explained to people that even if it was trying to take over the House of Representatives, they did an absolutely horrible job. Absolutely horrible job. If they knew anything about revolutionary days, that was an absolute disgrace. If they were trying to take over the government. And that's how I knew it was a big, giant flaw. On top of all the evidence that the FBI had informants into the crowd that pushed people in, so on and so forth. Here's also something even more interesting that just came afoot. So this guy is saying in a remarkable PBS documentary, the January 6th committee admits the entire thing was a publicity stunt, fabricated TV production meant to manipulate the audience, which is why they brought in former president of ABC News to make it into a miniseries. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. They tried to manufacture this as a production, as a news production to scare people, to get people glued to the television sets, angered at half the country, to try to make it like a miniseries. Watch this.
They had gathered a trove of information. The challenge, what to do with it.
The one thing that we knew was the information that we have is compelling. The thing we needed to do.
So he said the information we have is compelling. And when you have compelling information that's vital for people to know, you don't want to tell people. We don't want people to know about things, because if we tell them about things, they won't be conformed to our narrative. So that information is classified. That information is kept out of the dark, which is always hysterical. It's always hysterical. Like, you think the most horrific scenes that America has witnessed, you can't know about or have any information or do an investigation because it's classified. It's secret details. Like, the fact when your president gets shot in the early 60s. I think that'd be something that the American public should know about, because I think that's a national security threat. Like, some guy shot the president. I would want to know the investigation. Oh, you're not allowed to know that because that's classified. Or, 2 financial towers collapse, 2001. I kind of want to know about that. Or even as deranged as this, I would kind of want to know what exactly happened. But they will never tell you.
Do was tell that to the American people in a compelling way. So that's why we brought in a former president of ABC News.
Yeah, I got a call pretty much out of the blue from the January 6th committee. They wanted a storyteller.
Well, I always kind of wanted to know what the mascot for Six Flags was doing all this time, because you don't see him on TV anymore. Turns out he got hired to be the president of ABC News. Good, kudos to him. Kudos to him. I don't think he's doing any of those dances anymore. He's hatching schemes for ABC to make a production value of this.
And while they were brilliant lawyers, storytelling for a mass audience is not what they do.
To bring in a guy like this who would think outside the box really did prove to be fruitful. And it was Goldston who really began to envision this as, in a way, a kind of mini-series, that there would be, sort of 9 episodes, and that these episodes would tackle particular themes.
Attack on the Capitol. The
investigation.
The first hearing was primetime television.
As the nation is about to witness a defining moment, the first hearing before the country, the results of the January 6th investigation.
This is an extraordinary moment in American history.
When it came to that first hearing, we knew how high the stakes were.
Is about to hold its first primetime hearing.
We were either gonna, make people realize that this was important, or once you've lost them, you've lost them for good.
On the evening of June 9th, 8:01 p.m., the doors opened. My heart was beating pretty fast on June 9th, and it was a real question of, is this going to work or not?
All right, everybody, here we go. 5 on the line, please.
I'm in this tiny control room right up the stairs from Cannon Caucus. And we count down to the start of the hearing. And at that point, what can you do?
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
The Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol will be in order. Without objection.
We wanted to make sure that this was a presentation that would grab the audience and hold on to them. Chairman Thompson loved to say, it's got to pop.
It's gotta pop. It's gotta pop. One of the most historical events to ever witness. It's gotta pop. We gotta sell the idea of a catastrophe. How much do they try to pop, the massacre in Columbine? I'm pretty sure just telling that story is already riveting. I think people are already glued to their television sets to find out what happened. You don't need to sell it. The fact that they, oh my God, the fact that they had to say that is astonishing. It's amazing that they had to try to market this to people as some sort of like primetime exclusive. My God, we're going to find out how these delinquents stormed into the Capitol and then walked around like a tour guide. We got to sell this idea to the American public so that we are in constant fear of our neighbors and make sure that we extend our militarism, extend our police state. That's where that, I think it was like $2 billion or $2 trillion Capitol Police Fund came from, so they could try to extend the police state so that anyone in the people's house will be heavily guarded and attacked and viciously mauled from future incidences. Like, it's just crazy. It's so crazy. And of course, people watch this. People believe that. There's still people that believed it. There's still people, even if I show them the details, they're still like, well, they still breached into the Capitol and did things, Jay. Like, you have to understand that they were not welcome there. There were some gruely thugs. Like the same people that try to lecture me about the freedom. Like, there had to be like some Nazis there. Come on. Like, they can't all be good people there. Like, give me a break. But here's exactly what they were trying to sell, because what was actually inside was totally different from what they were trying to sell you on the outside. Because they kept showing you the highlights of them like breaking windows and all that crap, but they never showed what was inside. And we showed what's inside. Tucker Carlson broke it down on cable news, and that's one of the reasons he got fired from it. This was what was happening inside the insurrection. So, there you go. People taking selfies with the cops. Yes, it definitely looks like they're overthrowing they're overthrowing the means of order and democracy. Say cheese. Keep in mind, these are the same people for a long while have always backed the blue. The Blue Lives Matter crowd. And now all of a sudden, they're taking selfies with cops. You kind of, wasn't that already clued in? Wasn't that already part of it? Here's also something else, too, that was pointed out. If January 6th was such an insurrection, why were people allowed to leave like the Capitol was a movie theater? Clearly confirms what we said since January 6th. The J6 tapes would have been exonerated every person charged, and this is why the tapes were never released. Again, to paranoid people, to scare and fearmonger that half your country are the deplorables, are those vicious, evil thugs that want to take over democracy and keep us in perpetual civil war type motion, while the real criminals, the real people, the real evil in this world still moves on. And here's a little look at this. Look at this. They're walking out. Hey, you want some water? Hey, I like the show. Thank you. Those seats are very comfy. Look at them. Hey, thanks. Thanks. I had a good time. Want to get your hand stamped so you go back in? This is like if they're leaving a concert. I had a good time. Thank you. Thank you. These are violent extremists, folks. Oh, there's the Shaman. Buffalo Bill. Yeah. I thought he was supposed to be the worst one of all. Oh, okay. All right, bye. Bye. Oh my God. And you see cops literally attacking, choking people for not wearing a mask. But, you know, the violent insurrection that was going to take down democracy. Okay, bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Go. The joke just keeps on coming. So, and you remember that we've shown this before, and this has been circulating all across mainstream media, but yet no one in the mainstream establishment ever puts this out. No one ever released these tapes that Nancy Pelosi's daughter, the documentarian, in closed doors, revealed that this whole thing was a hoax. The whole thing was a production that they were trying to manufacture so they could sell to the news media, to sell to the people that half the country of America was overthrowing the democracy of America. It was a stage insurrection, as Rob points out. And here's, again, this will never be seen on any television set except for channels like this. And here you go.
Well, I think the one thing, if you drag it out, after the Democrats lose the House, and then they get rid of the committee, people may lose interest. The first trials are going to get a lot of attention. It's like anniversaries. The first one is a big deal. They did a really big deal. January 6th. No one's going to care after the Democrats are out of power. And then take Biden out of office, then who cares? If you drag it out long enough, I wouldn't go first for a trial, because D.C. is a lot of people that work for the government, and it's a lot of, I don't think I'm sympathetic.
The jury is going to be, we don't think the trial should be held there.
Well, if you got it moved, you totally get off.
Successfully move it? No, they won't move it. I mean, think about it. They'll resist it. They'll say, I've heard of the hearings. They're going to say, how dare you say we're not fair? We're fair.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen, I really, I know you're not the bad guy. I mean, if they're in, I haven't found the bad guy yet, but if there is, I know you're not the bad guy.
What is the guy with the eye patch? I mean, he's like a stereotypical bad guy.
But the thing is, why I asked you the question of like, so what was the plan? Is that if there was an insurrection, you were supposed to be in line, marching. You were in the military, you know this.
No,
you were supposed to have a plan.
Exactly.
If it was an insurrection, she even just said it. If it was an insurrection, they would have had a plan. They would have had, strategic military structure and actually go in a certain way and try to storm in of all different directions. If this was an insurrection, again, they did a horrible job, which is my point from the start. My whole point from the start was if they were trying to take over the White House, they did a horrible job. Did an absolute horrible job. The most that they did was walked into Nancy Pelosi's office and sat in her chair and read through her bills. Like, I don't know what exactly that is going to do to conflict the American democratic value system. And I use that in air quotes, democratic. I don't know what that's going to dismantle. Reading her mail, finding out her People magazine subscription is canceled. I don't know. Like, it's. But there you go. That's Nancy Pelosi's own daughter. That's her own daughter, the documentarian, revealing to us that the whole thing was a hoax. The whole thing, she knew about this. She knew this from day one. But, you know, we keep still hearing about how devastating it was, the Pearl Harbor of attacks. Like, these Koreans just came and stormed and then walked around and then left and thanked the cops. Oh, it was just a horrific day in America. I mean, AOC was crying, locked in a closet, 3 buildings away. It was horrific, folks. Oh. And again, they had to do this because they're losing control of the narrative. They're losing control of the narrative, the culture, aspects of trying to manipulate people, because people are finally waking up to this. They're awakened to the scam, to the scheme, to the whole entire game that's being played that's being played for them. And they're realizing that none of these people are truly in best interest of the American public. And the same goes with Canada. We've, with the Freedom Convoy, we've exposed and shown people that the governments, the parliament building, like all of it has no real representation, no obligation to serve the Canadian populace. And that's why a bunch of Canadians of all walks of life gathered together with some truckers and able to actually do some real significant change through a peaceful act. It wasn't as horrific as the supposed insurrection in America, but what it showed was that people were actually united together based on common interests, based on common grounds, and they're able to unite and actually help resolve conflicting problems and get to real change, which is something that they don't want. They want to keep us in fear. They want to keep us segregated. They want to keep us angered towards each other. Ergo, they have to create this and sell it as some sort of mini-series. At least the good part about this is that you don't have to pay $13.95 to witness all of it, like, those HBO series, which I hear some of them are good, but I just, are you really going to pay that money for that kind of, absurdity?